Good morning, East Castle Place. How's everybody doing? Welcome to this edition of Coffee with Tyler. Hope you have your favorite cup of coffee or beverage alongside you and join me in the first sip. Alright, well, I'm filming this on Thursday, and so it's the day after the vaccine clinic that took place, and just really want to say thank you. Thank you to everybody for your understanding, participation, patience throughout the entire clinic. I believe it went fairly smooth. I think we were able to, work well with our partner. And again, thank you to those that got the vaccine. And I'm going to share some statistics with you about the COVID-19 vaccine. So yesterday, approximately 170 doses of the Moderna vaccine were administered to East Castle Place. Inclusive of that is about 115 residents in independent living that received their second dose. That accounts for roughly 99% of our resident population. The only individuals that did not were contraindicated by their physician, and of course you understand that. We also had another 30 employees receive their second dose of the vaccine. So now our employee count is over 100 employees. And I will tell you that the greater majority of that 100 is all full-time individuals that work day in and day out here at East Castle Place. We also had roughly 7 residents from our health center that were new admissions that received their first dose. And we also had another 10 employees or so receive their first dose of the Moderna vaccine. So another 10 employees stepped up to the plate and received that first dose. Also, we had roughly 8 to 10 individuals receive their second dose that were private duty caregivers as well as clergy. So again, in all, we had over 170 employees and residents receive their first and second dose of the vaccine. That's exciting. Congratulations, and again, hats off to all those that participated in taking that step to protect yourselves as well as protect each other as we move forward with this COVID-19. Now again, just because you received your second dose of the vaccine does not make you Superman or Superwoman. These masks are still mandatory for wherever you go in the community. Social distancing will still be practiced as we move forward here in the upcoming weeks, but it does lend itself to getting back to what I'll call normal. Again, the normal that we see will still look a little different than obviously pre-pandemic days. So what does that mean? Well, small group activities are continuing, and so we'll continue those in Lindsay Hall. And again, we'll keep those groups to 10 or less here yet this week. Beginning next week and the following week, we'll actually expand that a little bit into groups of roughly 20 or less. Again, that's concurrent with the current CDC and Health Department guidance of no more than 50% capacity in any one large space. And of course, that's Lindsay Hall. Lindsay Hall, if we're in seat shoulder to shoulder, can roughly seat 80. So our capacity is 40 from a 50% range, but we're going to start at 20. Again, maintaining larger social distancing as well as stepping our foot back into the pond, so to speak. So again, look forward to that. So for instance, the resident council, if you're watching this, will be able to meet in person this month at the end of March, so to speak. Again, we'll do that in Lindsay Hall. We'll properly socially distance and wear masks. The other piece of that is the dining room. So beginning on March 16th, I know previously I had noted March 15th. March 16th just really allows us that Monday to make sure our ducks are in a row, kind of give the team the right setup so that we're consistently providing the best experience for you in that dining room. So again, March 16th, the dining room will be open. A separate document will come next week in anticipation of that to review guidelines, reservations, so on and so forth. I will tell you we're going to start with the dining room much like we're starting with Lindsay Hall. We're going to require reservations. Individuals will still be socially distanced unless you're in the same household. Masks will be required to enter the dining room as well as when you exit. Obviously, you can't take a sip of coffee with a mask on, so nor can you eat. So of course your mask will not have to be on while you're eating. But again, we'll want to help in remaining socially distanced. Our staff will remain masked. With that, of course, there's going to be some patience that's going to be required as we're getting back into routines, as we're getting back into the flow of things. My apologies for my phone. But again, that's exciting. Again, if you're uncomfortable with that, or you're saying, you know what, I'm just not quite there, by all means, take your time with that. We're going to start this, see how it goes. Of course, COVID still being very, very relevant and a very real threat. These plans can change. And so as much as I feel confident in that, because of the participation we've had from our residents and staff in getting that second vaccine, we still have to be somewhat flexible and understanding. Also, what looks will be happening in the middle of March will be visits. So visitors will be able to be back on campus. It'll be a little different. Again, the visitors will want to have you sign up so we know who the visitors are that's coming in. Again, we're going to start this probably in the middle of March, so March 6th, the week of March 15th tentatively. Though we'll limit it to 2 visitors per day per resident in independent living. Those individuals will have to sign in, they'll have to go through our screening protocols, they will have to be masked, and the visits will take place in your apartments. Now I know all your apartments are over the 600 square foot mark, and I expect and entrust you as residents to take the proper steps to make sure you're socially distanced, to make sure that if you're not feeling well or a visitor comes in that's not feeling well, that they immediately leave, or you do not allow them into your apartment for your safety and the safety of everyone. But what that allows us to do is to keep a list of everybody that's entered into the building. They will have to sign off an acknowledgement form that says, you know, they're entering a community and for their safety as well as yours. There's risks associated with that. We want them to acknowledge that. And so we'll hang on to those sheets as well. If you have visitors that come consistently, of course, it's just a one sign-off. With that, we can do contact tracing if necessary. So again, we'll look for that starting in the middle of March. Again, look forward on probably Tuesday of next week, a full memo with more of this laid out. I'll lay out a few of the details in today's memo that you receive, but it's more so going to focus on the results of the clinic as well as kind of the immediate next steps of what next week looks like, which is the small groups and kind of getting ready to dip our foot back in the pond, so to speak. Also, what that means is we have to be consistent in our protocols from temping as well as masking. And so again, that's with anything. So I'm excited to share with you, this is the first time in a year. Next week marks actually the first time we took our first steps into restricting activity here at East Castle Place. I have my notes. March 9th, we took our first step in really limiting and actually canceling some events. And so this year, although we won't be back to full operations and full parties and things of that nature, we're getting back to what I might call a new normal. And so again, I'm looking forward to that. That's a lot of information to take in. If you want the bullet points on what I really want you to take away is, yesterday, March 3rd, we had a very successful vaccine clinic with over 99% of your friends and neighbors receiving their vaccines. We have over 105 staff members that received their second dose of the Moderna vaccine from the beginning of January through March. We as a community will be moving forward with opening up some of the smaller groups and some of the things that we have not been able to do over the course of the last year. And that's exciting. What I cannot and do not want to gloss over is that COVID is still a threat. We still need to take the proper protocols and precautions to guard against COVID-19 entering into our community. This mask is our first defense. These are required. These are not going away. And when you're visiting, even when we do get to that point, I must ask that you wear your mask. I must ask that the visitors wear your masks. And again, if you don't feel well, if you for some reason are saying, you know what, Tyler, I just don't feel well, let us know. We now have the capability to provide a rapid test for COVID-19, and if you're still not feeling well, we'll do a secondary test. Also, what this means is if you plan to travel, or you're going back from Florida or coming back from Florida, so to speak, when you do that in return, we'll ask you to stay isolated in your apartment for the time being. That next day or that next business day, we'll have a nurse or staff member come and do a rapid test to make sure you're clear. Although you're feeling fine, we just want to take that extra precaution. But that isolation period of 14 days will be shrunk to 1. And again, we're going to continue to monitor. We need your assistance in that. But we feel confident now with that second dose of the vaccine, as well as the rapid test capability, to let us know, hey, this individual does have COVID immediately, saying, all right, let's go strictly through our isolation protocols, which will be 14 days. But if we can say, you know what, you can come back into the community after you leave, that's going to be great. Again, we had a new resident, Miss Leverens. Welcome to the community. She joined us. For those of you that joined us during the thick of COVID, you know you had to stay in your apartment for 14 days. That protocol's changed, and it's primarily due to that second dose and our new testing capabilities, but the individual is able to come out of their apartment. It's no different than a few of you that have gone to Florida and come back and brought the beautiful sunshine, although it's a little cloudy right now. We're able to facilitate the same isolation protocols for you. To get you back ingrained in the community. The socialization and wellness that you need, that is so important for the overall well-being of you. We're able to facilitate that a little bit better. So again, still wanting to work directly with you. I know that this is a lot of information to take in. Again, bullet points for the third time. Successful vaccine clinic yesterday on March 3rd. 99% of your friends and neighbors received it. We're moving towards a reopen. Look for a memo early to mid next week with specifics on what that looks like. And lastly, masks and the continued threat of COVID is still there, and we need to remain diligent in our process. All right, that's a lot to take in. So I'm going to take a sip. But wow, is it awesome to be able to share that message with you this morning. Couple other housekeeping type of things. The weather is changing, the snow is melting, the spring is here. At least that's what my mind is telling me. That's the optimistic side of me. I do know that there's still slippery spots out on sidewalks, and I know that it's beautiful, and I encourage you to get out and enjoy the fresh air. But snow does turn to water, water turns to ice overnight. So if you're taking your early morning walks, I have to ask that you stay focused on the task at hand in walking. I don't want anybody to slip, trip, and fall. If you see slippery spots, I know our maintenance team is still rounding in the morning trying to catch those, but if you see something on our property, let us know. Obviously, if you're walking down Downer, I don't have too much control over that other than wear appropriate shoes, the yak tracks, and take your time. Again, do not want to see anybody slip. Let's see. The garbage piece. The Green Committee has been doing a lot on this. And I want to just emphasize and re-encourage you to take part in doing your part. So trash is collected each night. Unfortunately, Waste Management has broken our compactor, so Eric's team has gone to Plan B again. We're in the throes of getting that fixed. If you see Eric Peterson, give him a pat on the back. Truly, he's been incredible in navigating this along with our security team overnight. Also, if you have larger boxes, we ask that you break those down or have your housekeeper take those. If you have trash, please enclose it. Same thing with recycling, so that we mitigate the spills I know our team does clean out the garbage cans as much as they can, but if you can do your part in not throwing loose refuse around or big items that take up the entire garbage can, be a good neighbor and mitigate those larger items. Let us know. We can come pick those up on a one-off basis. So again, let's all do our part. If you see something that needs attention, obviously let Lila or Eric know. We'll put a work order in, and Ian and the team can take care of that. The other piece, going back into kind of the reopen, is our prospective new fellow neighbors. Will be starting to come back on campus. The warm East Castle Place welcome is not something that I want to be forgotten. And so again, we've been so in our routine of kind of wearing our masks and making sure we mitigate the interactions. But I encourage you, if you see Anna or Heidi walking around with an unfamiliar face, to stop and give them the warm East Castle Place welcome. East Castle, at the end of the day, the reason why I feel and I'm so blessed to be here is because of the family feel and the warm welcome that I receive each and every day. I want our residents and new residents and neighbors to feel that same way. So I encourage you, if you see Anna or Heidi, stop them in the hallway. Say, hey, who's coming? Who's going to be my new neighbor? As you know, we have a few apartments available at this time. And so again, you'll see some unfamiliar faces potentially that hopefully will turn to familiar neighbors. I encourage you to stop and give them the warm East Castle Place welcome. The one that you probably received when you joined East Castle Place or were walking the halls for the first time. Again, I know we've been in such a mode for the last year to really focus on the task at hand and maybe to give some blinders on. But again, you all are such an incredible group of residents that I know this is something that you're saying, Tyler, I do this already. Fantastic, keep it up. But again, I also want you to know how impactful that is. And so again, everybody that's walking the halls, again, myself included, need to kind of readjust, need to respond appropriately and to give that warm East Castle Place welcome. That is what I believe I have for you today. Again, look for a memo. The memo today is going to focus more on the clinic and kind of the immediate next steps, with a more robust document that's going to show kind of the isolation protocols, the next steps for dining, the next steps for larger groups, so to speak, 20 and less. And then obviously that will continue to morph as we go through the upcoming weeks. If there's any questions that you have after this, again, you know where to find me. My door is always open. See me in the hall. Please stop me in the hallway. I enjoy the conversations. I enjoyed seeing everybody yesterday. It was fantastic. And I think it was nice for you to see each other as well. And I can't wait for the upcoming weeks and what that all entails for East Castle Place. Next week, there will not be a Coffee with Tyler on Thursday, as I will be out of the office. We're doing a virtual business conference. So again, LCS, the management company of East Castle Place, is hosting a virtual business unit meeting. Usually what would happen is I'd fly off site with Lindsay Vigut, the administrator, somewhere to a destination. The last one we had was actually right here in Milwaukee. And we spend 3 or 4 days with our fellow colleagues, learning best practices, learning what others are doing. And so again, LCS has gone virtual due to COVID and its precautions. And so I'll actually be taking the meeting from home and being on a Zoom for about 3 days, on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week. So my door will be closed. Again, the team knows how to get a hold of me. Shoot me an email, shoot me a call. I'll be monitoring, but my response will be delayed. The Coffee with Tyler will not happen next week, so we'll take a break. And hey, maybe we'll have some exciting news the following week. If there's anything that you need, if there's, again, anything that you think, hey Tyler, you missed, or hey Tyler, that doesn't make sense, let me know. Again, this is, again, a fluid situation, trying to make it as finite as possible, following still the guidelines of the health department as well as the CDC. But you all took part in the great next step, and that's the second dose of the vaccine. You will be receiving a call today, most likely. Hopefully you already have received a call. Just checking in, seeing how you're doing, to make sure that second dose didn't knock you out, so to speak. Hopefully it didn't. I ran into a few of you today. Everybody's feeling pretty good. So again, thank you to the Resident Wellness Committee for kind of putting out just what to expect and to how to maneuver that. So hope everybody's feeling well. With that, I'm going to sign off with a sip. Enjoy the beautiful spring weather. It's cloudy today. Hopefully the sunshine peaks back up this weekend for you. Again, take care, stay well, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.